Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our competitive analysis and strategy class. In this session, we will see a very interesting topic because it's important to know what Mexico is willing to offer, and of course, why we have many countries, many cultures pointing out to our nation as a good, spot for doing business, for creating factories, and of course to invest in general. Okay, so the first thing that we'd like to go through, and this is important for your own analysis, why do we think Mexico is attractive, okay, for other nations? Well, we might say that it's for the cultural aspects, all this for the legal systems, all this because of the region, and somehow, yes, all those answers are correct. Okay, but let's take a look to some elements that are already defined and well researched that bring an advantage for the company, and specifically for the company that is established in Mexico or that we decide to invest in the country. And why do I mention this? Because even though that we could have all the countries that have the same or more advantage, not all of them offer the same elements at the same time. Maybe some of them are in a well position, geographically speaking, but maybe they have a political conflict with other countries, okay? Or maybe they are having economical problems, and that might be other disadvantage. So Mexico somehow is stable, and that makes a huge difference. So again, trying to highlight of why Mexico is attractive, okay? Again, what happens here is that we have a lot of things that are offered and creates a huge advantage, not just because of the geographical position, but also because we embrace, we allow French companies to invest in our country. Somehow we see it as an advantage. And of course, once we analyze the following factors, we're gonna see that definitely they have a huge advantage even themselves. So some reasons, of why Mexico is attractive. Well, first of all, is actually because of the free trade agreements, the commercial agreements, and all the things that we can have from them. Another thing is the strategic region, the labor law, cultural openness, and natural resources. So let's take a look to each element, because at the end, the combination of all of this is what makes a huge and unique proposal. It's not just one, it's a combination of all of them. So the free trade agreement, the commercial agreements, and agreements in general, is actually that the Mexico owns a powerful relation with who? North America, specifically the US and Canada. Okay, it's important for you to recall that US and Canada are quite big alliances, and a lot of countries, they want to invest in them, but they know that sometimes it's difficult to enter directly with them. So they use Mexico as an indirect way of making an alliance, and because of the free trade agreement, they get to know more about the culture. Even like they can create in Mexico and they just import or export from Mexico. Another thing is that by itself, Mexico has 14 free trade agreements, and well, that involves 50 countries, at least 50 countries. So what's happening here is that we have a very, very large number of free trade agreements that could be used, that we own an advantage, and of course that we use it constantly. Of course, it's undeniable that if you make the analysis of import and export of Mexico, definitely North America, due to obvious reasons, they invest more, between them. Another thing is that, well, there are relevant organizations in which we are currently related, or we are doing alliances, which is the World Trade Organization, the OECD, okay, many other organizations, which somehow also relate the international scope that we are having. And of course, somehow will lead into a huge advantage. Another thing is the strategic region, which is, of course, that we are an excellent spot to combine Latin America and North America. Okay. Some people even say, like, because Mexico is not so difficult to get a visa or to get a permit, not to work, but also to visit. Okay. That could be a good spot. Okay. If someone maybe they don't have a US visa, but they want to make an interaction with them, well, they can meet in Mexico. Another thing is the access, the different accesses that we have using sea or air, and of course the logistics that we already have. We have plenty of them because of the type of alliances that we have had with other countries. And of course, I mean, we have a very good standard of wealth. I know that we can have a lot of discussions, but it's important that understanding this type of economical analysis can also involve, okay, a good advantage of those things. Another thing is actually labor law. Definitely, we're in a working society. We worked a lot. We don't have maybe the same rights if you just analyze, okay, the minimum wage of the U.S. among the minimum wage of Mexico. It's like for every kind of like 2-3 hours that a U.S. citizen, I mean the minimum wage, it equals to a full working load of 8 hours in Mexico. So I mean, just make your numbers. It's quite different, and of course it makes an advantage. Also, because again, just thinking about vacations, other countries, they offer way much more days. Even though with the current reform that we had, we are still a little bit behind from other developed nations. Okay, so it's important for us to know about this. Another thing is actually that we are considered a culture that it's quite open, okay? Because we allow all the cultures to enter, because we somehow are flexible. We like to share. We are not considered a cold nation or a cold culture. We like those differences. We are friendly, okay? As I mentioned, we work, okay? So, well, of course, there are some other aspects, such as hierarchical aspects, that we do not correct our bosses. We look for external motivation. We develop harmonic relations. I mean, but that's something even up to a certain point that could be considered positive in the business environment. And that leads into a very, very interesting approach of a culture that is open to other nations to invest, and of course to be flexible while adapting the products to get into new horizons, new places. And of course, the natural resources. Remember that we have something known as denomination of origin, and it involves, like, well, there's some products because of the region and because of this geographical areas, geographical aspects that can only be cataloged from that region. Okay, the coffee from Chiapas, okay, the tequila from Jalisco, okay, and all these things involve a uniqueness. Okay, it's something that, well, people desire and they are more than willing to get. Okay, so this will be it for today. Thank you very much and have an excellent day. Bye bye.